Hi everyone and welcome to our video on caffeine sensitivity. Are you someone who loves their morning cup of coffee but always feels jittery afterwards? Or maybe you've noticed that a small amount of caffeine affects you more than others. In this video, we'll explore caffeine sensitivity, what causes it, the symptoms to look out for, and how to tell if you're sensitive to caffeine. By the end of this video, you'll better understand caffeine sensitivity and how to manage it. So, if you're ready to learn more about your body's reaction to caffeine, then grab your favorite caffeine-free drink, get comfortable, and let's get started. What is caffeine sensitivity? Caffeine sensitivity refers to the condition where you can experience negative symptoms after consuming caffeine. These symptoms can range from mild to severe and can include insomnia, jitters, nervousness, restlessness, headaches, gastrointestinal discomfort, and palpitations. Mild caffeine sensitivity can cause relatively minor symptoms such as restlessness or increased heart rate, while severe caffeine sensitivity can lead to more serious symptoms, like panic attacks, heart palpitations, and even hospitalization in extreme cases. What causes caffeine sensitivity? Caffeine sensitivity can be caused by a variety of factors, including genetics, age, gender, body weight, liver function, hormonal changes, lifestyle, medical conditions, and medications. So let's talk more about each of the factors. Factor number 1. Genetics. One of the primary factors that can influence caffeine sensitivity is genetics. Certain genetic variations can affect your ability to metabolize caffeine, leading to slower or faster clearance from the body. For example, variations in the CYP1A2 gene can affect the activity of the enzyme, responsible for breaking down the caffeine in the liver, which can influence how long caffeine stays in the body, and its effects on the nervous system. Factor number 2. Age. Age can also play a role in caffeine sensitivity. Younger individuals tend to be more sensitive to the effects of caffeine than older adults. Caffeine may stay in the bloodstream longer and have a more potent effect on the body in younger people. Factor number 3. Gender. Research has suggested that gender can also influence caffeine sensitivity. Women may be more sensitive to the effects of caffeine than men due to differences in body composition and hormonal factors. For example, women tend to have a higher percentage of body fat, which can lead to slower caffeine metabolism. Additionally, changes in estrogen levels throughout the menstrual cycle can affect how caffeine is processed in the body. Factor number 4. Body weight. Body weight can also impact caffeine sensitivity. Generally, people with lower body weight may be more sensitive to caffeine than those who weigh more. This is because caffeine is distributed throughout the body based on body weight, so smaller people may receive a higher dose per pound of body weight. Factor number 5. Liver function. The liver plays a crucial role in metabolizing caffeine, so any factors that impact liver function can affect caffeine sensitivity. Medical conditions that affect the liver, such as cirrhosis or hepatitis, can slow down caffeine metabolism and increase sensitivity to its effects. Factor number 6. Hormonal changes. Hormonal changes can also impact caffeine sensitivity. For example, women may be more sensitive to caffeine during pregnancy or while breastfeeding, as hormonal changes can affect the way the body processes caffeine. Similarly, changes in hormonal levels during menopause can also influence caffeine sensitivity. Factor number 7. Medical conditions. Certain medical conditions can also impact caffeine sensitivity. For example, people with anxiety disorders or panic attacks may be more sensitive to the stimulating effects of caffeine, as it can exacerbate symptoms of anxiety. Additionally, conditions that affect the nervous system, such as Parkinson's disease or epilepsy, can increase sensitivity to caffeine. Factor number 8. Medications. Certain medications can also impact caffeine sensitivity. For example, medications that inhibit the activity of the liver enzyme responsible for metabolizing caffeine can increase caffeine sensitivity. Additionally, medications that interact with the nervous system, such as antidepressants or antipsychotics, can also affect how the body responds to caffeine. Factor number 9. Lifestyle. Lifestyle factors such as smoking, stress, and lack of sleep can also increase your sensitivity to caffeine. It's important to note that while these factors can increase your sensitivity to caffeine, not everyone will experience negative symptoms after consuming caffeine. Some people may be able to consume moderate amounts of caffeine without any adverse effects, while others may need to avoid caffeine altogether. Symptoms of caffeine sensitivity. Now, let's discuss the symptoms of caffeine sensitivity. Some of the most common symptoms include: Symptom number 1. Insomnia. Caffeine can disrupt the body's natural sleep cycle by blocking the effects of adenosine, a chemical that promotes sleep. This can lead to difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, and can ultimately result in insomnia. People with caffeine sensitivity may experience this effect more strongly than others. Symptom number 2. Jitters. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, which can lead to feelings of restlessness, jitters, or trembling. This is due to an increase in the release of adrenaline and other stress hormones. Symptom number 3. Headaches. Caffeine can cause headaches, particularly in people who consume large amounts of caffeine or are experiencing caffeine withdrawal. This is because caffeine constricts blood vessels in the brain, which can cause headaches. Symptom number 4. Anxiety. Caffeine can increase levels of anxiety or nervousness, particularly in people who are prone to anxiety. This is due to caffeine's ability to stimulate the release of adrenaline and other stress hormones. Symptom number 5. Heart palpitations. Caffeine can cause an increase in heart rate or heart palpitations, particularly in people who consume large amounts of caffeine or are sensitive to caffeine. This is because caffeine stimulates the cardiovascular system and can increase the workload on the heart. Symptom number 6. Digestive issues. Caffeine can cause digestive issues such as nausea, diarrhea, and stomach cramps, particularly in people who consume large amounts of caffeine or have a sensitive digestive system. This is because caffeine stimulates the production of stomach acid, which can irritate the lining of the stomach. Symptom number 7. Mood swings. Caffeine can affect mood and cause mood swings in some people. This is because caffeine can alter brain chemistry and affect neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, which can affect mood and emotions. Symptom number 8. Muscle tremors. Caffeine can cause muscle tremors or twitching, particularly in people who consume large amounts of caffeine or are sensitive to caffeine. This is due to caffeine's stimulant effect on the nervous system, which can cause muscle contractions. Symptom number 9. High blood pressure. Caffeine can cause an increase in blood pressure, particularly in people who consume large amounts of caffeine or are sensitive to caffeine. This is because caffeine constricts blood vessels, which can increase the workload on the heart and cause an increase in blood pressure. If you experience any of these symptoms after consuming caffeine, you may have caffeine sensitivity. It's important to note that not all of these symptoms will occur in every person who is sensitive to caffeine, and the severity of the symptoms may vary depending on your caffeine intake and sensitivity level. How can I determine if I am sensitive to caffeine? Determining if you are sensitive to caffeine can be a process of trial and error. Here are some steps you can take to help determine if you are sensitive to caffeine. Step number 1. Keep track of how much caffeine you consume and when you consume it. Write down any symptoms you experience after consuming caffeine, as well as the severity and duration of the symptoms. Over time, you may notice patterns that suggest you are sensitive to caffeine. Step number 2. Start with a low dose. If you are not a regular caffeine consumer, start with a low dose of caffeine and gradually increase it over time. For example, start with half a cup of coffee or tea and gradually increase to a full cup. Step number 3. Pay attention to how you feel. After consuming caffeine, pay attention to how you feel. Do you feel jittery, anxious, or have trouble sleeping? Do you experience gastrointestinal upset? If so, this may be a sign that you are sensitive to caffeine. Step number 4. Consider other factors. Keep in mind that other factors can also contribute to the symptoms you experience after consuming caffeine. For example, lack of sleep, stress, and certain medications can all contribute to feelings of jitteriness or anxiety. Step number 5. Talk to a healthcare provider. If you continue to experience negative symptoms after consuming caffeine, consider talking to a healthcare provider. They may be able to help determine if you have an underlying condition that is contributing to your sensitivity to caffeine, or if there are other factors at play. If you suspect that you may be sensitive to caffeine, the best way to confirm this is to gradually reduce your caffeine intake and monitor your body's reaction. This can involve gradually reducing your caffeine intake over a period of days or weeks, and paying attention to how your body responds. If you find that you feel better or experience fewer negative symptoms when you consume less caffeine, this may be a sign that you're sensitive to its effects. What to do if you are caffeine sensitive? By paying attention to your body's response and keeping track of your caffeine intake, you can better understand how caffeine affects you and make adjustments as needed. If you are caffeine sensitive, there are several steps you can take to reduce the negative symptoms associated with caffeine. Step number 1. Reduce your caffeine intake. This may involve cutting back on coffee, tea, energy drinks, and other sources of caffeine. Gradually reducing your caffeine intake can help reduce negative symptoms associated with caffeine sensitivity. Start by reducing your caffeine intake by 25% each week until you reach a comfortable level. Step number 2. Choose decaf or lower caffeine options. If you enjoy the taste of coffee or tea, consider switching to decaf or caffeine-free varieties, such as herbal tea or coffee alternatives like chicory or dandelion root coffee. Step number 3. Space out your caffeine consumption. Instead of consuming caffeine all at once, try spacing it out throughout the day. This can help reduce the negative symptoms associated with caffeine sensitivity. Step number 4. Stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water can help to flush caffeine from your system and may help to alleviate some of the symptoms of caffeine sensitivity. Step number 5. Get enough sleep. Adequate sleep is essential for overall health and may help to reduce the negative effects of caffeine. Overall, by taking steps to reduce your caffeine intake and paying attention to your body's response to caffeine, you can manage caffeine sensitivity and minimize its negative effects on your health and well-being. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest tips and tricks for a healthy and happy life. Stay healthy. See you in the next video.